Stop for a second and think about this. What if your child's good behavior is actually a cry for help in disguise? I know that sounds backwards, right? But here's something that might shock you. When your little one seems unusually calm, never asks for help or handles everything on their own without batting an eye, that's not always the independence you think it is. Stick with me for the next few minutes because I'm going to walk you through 7 surprising behaviors that look like emotional maturity but could actually signal something completely different. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll never look at good behavior the same way again. But first, let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt that nagging feeling in your gut that something's just off? Like your child seems fine on paper, but something deeper is telling you to pay attention? You're not imagining it, and you're definitely not alone. Here's something most parenting content won't tell you. Children's brains aren't built to handle big emotions alone. Think of it like this. Imagine trying to lift a heavy box without any help. For adults, that's manageable. But for a child's developing brain, that's like asking them to lift a car. The emotional control center in their brain, scientists call it the prefrontal cortex, doesn't fully develop until their mid-20s, so when toddlers feel overwhelmed, they're literally wired to look to you to borrow your calmness. Here's the critical part. Kids only learn to calm themselves down after you've calmed them down thousands of times first. So when a young child suddenly stops asking for comfort, they haven't leveled up. They've switched into survival mode. And that's exactly what these 7 signs are showing us. Let's start with something that might hit close to home. You've got a child who never asks for help. They tackle everything solo. Your relatives probably say, wow, they're so independent for their age. But here's the question we need to ask. Is this true confidence or learned self? When children develop healthy attachment, they actually feel safe asking for help. They know that reaching out strengthens connections rather than weakening them. But when a child becomes what I call hyper-independent, something else might be happening. Their brain may have quietly decided, asking for help doesn't work for me, or even my needs seem to upset people. Picture this real-world example. Your 5-year-old is wrestling with their shoelaces for 10 solid minutes. You can see the frustration building, but they don't call for you. When you finally notice and offer to help, they snap back with genuine anger. I can do it myself. That's not confidence speaking. That's a nervous system that's learned to associate vulnerability with threat. Here's your action step. Start small and low pressure. Try saying something like, I can see you're working really hard on that. How about I hold this part steady while you handle the tricky bit? You're not taking over, you're showing them that accepting support is safe. Now this second one trips up almost every parent because society celebrates it. My child is so well behaved, they never push back. They always listen the first time. But here's what child development research tells us. Healthy, securely attached children actually test boundaries. It's completely normal, even necessary. Between 18 months and 4 years old, kids should be pushing limits. That's literally how they learn where boundaries exist and discover that relationships can survive disagreement. When a child is constantly compliant, constantly reading your emotional temperature, constantly working to be good enough, they might be operating from fear rather than security. Watch for this pattern. Your child accidentally knocks over a cup of juice. Before you can even process what happened, they're already spiraling. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll clean it. Please don't be mad. I'm sorry. That's not politeness. That's anxiety in action. These children often get praised as easy kids, but internally, they're running a 24/7 surveillance system, constantly scanning for any sign of disapproval, constantly adjusting themselves to remain acceptable. Your move. When you notice excessive apologizing, pause and say, hey, accidents are just accidents. You're not in trouble. Let's handle this together. Show them that mistakes don't damage your connection. And here's the powerful part. Let them see you make mistakes without falling apart. This third one's heartbreaking to witness, because you can literally see your child in pain, and yet they've learned to reject the exact thing they need most. Think about it. Babies enter this world with a built-in expectation that crying brings comfort. But when comfort becomes unpredictable or consistently absent, they learn something devastating, that seeking comfort leads to disappointment or even more distress. Here's what this actually looks like in daily life. Your child trips and scrapes their knee on the sidewalk. You immediately move to help, but they twist away from you saying I'm fine while tears are literally streaming down their face. When you try to offer a hug, their body goes stiff or actively pushes you away. This absolutely breaks parents' hearts. You're trying to help and they won't let you. Why? Because their nervous system has created a formula. Vulnerability plus connection equals danger. Here's what to do instead. Don't force physical comfort. Instead, try what I call safe proximity. Sit nearby and simply say, "That looked like it really hurt. I'm staying right here if you want me." Match their pace, not your own. Eventually, their nervous system will learn that you're a safe landing place. Now, those first 3 signs show children actively building protective walls. But what happens when a child isn't fighting or resisting? What if they're just emotionally gone? This next sign fools everyone, even pediatricians. This is the sign that gets past everyone's radar. Teachers call them such a calm child. Relatives say they're so mature, and you might think, well, that's just their personality. They're not dramatic. But what if it's not personality? What if it's emotional shutdown? Real life scenario. Your child's best friend, the one they've played with every single day, moves to another state. The night before, totally fine. Moving day, completely fine. A week later, still fine. No tears, no questions about reunions, nothing. You might think, wow, kids bounce back so fast. But what if they didn't bounce back? What if they simply shut down the feeling entirely because experiencing it felt too overwhelming, and they learned a long time ago that big emotions don't bring comfort, they bring more chaos? When children's emotions get repeatedly dismissed, with phrases like, "you're fine" or "you're okay," they learn to shut them down. Not because they stop feeling, but because feeling isn't safe anymore. Their nervous system does something called hypoarousal. Think of it like a circuit breaker. In your house, when the electrical load gets too high, the breaker automatically trips to prevent a fire. Your child has tripped their emotional circuit breaker to stay safe. Your action step: start naming emotions for them without pressure. I noticed your friend moved away. I feel sad about that. It's totally okay to feel sad too. Don't force them to feel. Just model that feelings are safe, welcome, and completely normal. You're giving them permission to thaw. All right, now we're entering the most confusing territory with sign number 5. This is the pattern that makes parents feel like they're losing their minds. Have you ever experienced this? Your child desperately wants you one second, then pushes you away the next, creating this exhausting back and forth that leaves you completely drained. Here's what's actually happening. Your child runs toward you with arms outstretched, clearly upset. You scoop them up and immediately they start squirming, pushing your face away, arching their back. So you put them down and they cry harder and reach for you again. This isn't manipulation, this is nervous system confusion. These children do want connection desperately. But their nervous system has learned that connection isn't safe, so they're trapped in a painful loop. Reach out, then pull back, get close, then retreat. Researchers call this disorganized attachment, which basically means their attachment system is receiving contradictory signals. It often develops when a caregiver becomes both the source of fear or frighteningly unpredictable, and the source of comfort simultaneously. The child's brain literally doesn't know whether to approach or avoid. They need you, but getting close triggers internal alarm bells. What to do? Narrate what's happening without judgment. You want to be close, but something feels scary, right? Now, that's completely okay. I'm going to stay calm and gentle right here. Provide steady, predictable responses. Over time, their nervous system learns this person is safe even when I feel confused. All the signs we've covered show kids struggling with family relationships, but what happens when that same insecurity shows up with complete strangers? Let me ask you something. Does your child treat strangers like instant best friends? You might think they're just naturally social. They love people. But here's what's interesting. Securely attached children actually have something called stranger caution. They might be friendly, sure, but they visually check in with you. They look back to see if you're okay with the interaction. They use you as their secure home base. The red flag isn't that they're friendly, it's that they don't look back. Imagine this scene at the park. A stranger starts chatting with your child, and within minutes, your child is treating them like a beloved family member, asking to be picked up, sharing personal information, showing zero caution. You feel uncomfortable watching it, but your child seems totally fine. This isn't just being social. This is a child who hasn't learned that intimacy should be reserved for trusted people because they're not entirely sure who their safe people are. Your approach: practice connection at home first. You're my special person. We have special hugs just for our family. Teach them gradually about circles of trust. And most importantly, work on becoming their secure base so they don't need to seek connection everywhere else. Final sign, and this one completely changes how you'll respond to meltdowns moving forward. The question is, why does your child get worse when you try to help? You might be thinking, they must not want my comfort. They're rejecting me. But something completely different is happening underneath. When you try to soothe a child, you're offering what researchers call core regulation. You're lending them your calm nervous system. But if your nervous system energy doesn't match theirs, it can actually escalate their distress. Think of it like music. They're playing a fast, intense melody in a minor key, and you're coming in with a slow, gentle melody in a major key. It's jarring, it doesn't sync. It feels wrong to their system. Real scenario, your child is having a complete meltdown. You approach calmly, using a soft, gentle voice. It's okay, sweetheart. You're okay. And they absolutely explode, screaming louder, throwing things, completely unraveling. You think, I'm making everything worse. Now, sometimes a child explodes because they finally feel safe enough to release. That's actually healthy. But the attachment red flag is when they escalate to fight you off, when your closeness triggers more panic instead of relief. Here's what to do instead. First, match their energy level, not their emotion, but their intensity. If they're big and loud, you need to be solid and grounded, matching their volume but keeping your tone safe. Not quiet and gentle yet. Say firmly, I see you. This is big. I'm right here. Then gradually bring your intensity down. You're leading them to calm, not demanding they meet you there instantly. Okay, so we've just walked through 7 signs together. And if you're like most parents watching this right now, you're probably feeling one of 2 things. Either thank goodness my child doesn't do these things, or oh no, my child does all of these. What have I done? So let me tell you something really important. If you recognized your child in these signs, you might be feeling this heavy mix of guilt and grief right now. You might be thinking, how did I not see this sooner? How long has my child been struggling? Here's what you need to understand. You didn't miss it because you don't care or because you're a bad parent. You missed it because these signs are designed to be invisible. Your child's brain worked incredibly hard to hide their struggle. The fact that you're seeing it now, that's not failure. That's awareness. That's the first crucial step toward everything changing. You can't fix what you can't see. Now you can see it. Now you can help. Here's the beautiful truth about attachment. It's never too late. Attachment doesn't develop from one bad day or one missed moment. It develops from thousands of tiny interactions, the daily, moment-to-moment ways we respond to our children's needs. And here's the crucial part that research consistently shows. Secure parents only get it right about 30% of the time. Read that. Again, you can miss the mark 70% of the time and still raise a securely attached child as long as you have this one thing. Repair. When you miss a cue, when you respond in a way that doesn't help, what matters is what happens next. Do you notice? Do you repair? Do you come back and try again? Let me give you 3 practical tools that create the biggest shifts. If you do nothing else, do these 3 things. First, the 30-second repair. When you realize you've missed an emotional moment, try to catch it within 30 seconds. But if you miss that window, do it anyway. 10 minutes later is infinitely better than never. Say this exact script. Hey, I noticed I didn't really pay attention when you, and name the specific thing. Can we try that again? I want to see it, hear it, understand it. Real life example, you're making dinner while your child tries to tell you about their day. You give half attention, mumbling, without really listening. You notice their shoulders drop. Right then, within 30 seconds, you turn off the stove, sit down at their level, and say, I didn't really listen just then. Can you tell me? Again, I want to hear the whole thing. Watch their face transform. That's the power of immediate repair. Second tool. Follow their lead play, but make it weird. 5 to 10 minutes daily where they're in charge. But here's the key. You have to be fully, almost embarrassingly engaged. If they want you to be a dinosaur, you are a dinosaur. If they want you to sit in complete silence while they line up toys, you sit in silence. If they want you to be the baby and they're the parent, you become the baby. Why this works? You're showing them their ideas and needs matter more than your comfort. You're practicing attunement in a low-stakes, fun context. Third tool, the emotional mirror. When you see a feeling, you don't fix it, question it, or redirect it. You simply reflect it back. You seem really frustrated right now. That's it. Then you wait. Not, why are you frustrated? Not, you shouldn't be frustrated. Not, let me help you feel better. Just, you seem really frustrated right now. What happens? Your child learns that feelings can exist without consequences, that you can handle their emotions, that they don't have to manage you. Start with one of these tools, master it, then add another. Because here's what I need you to understand. Your relationship with your child isn't fixed. It's not set in stone. Every single interaction is an opportunity to move toward security. Your child isn't broken. Your relationship isn't ruined. This is a detour, not a destination. Maybe you were dealing with depression. Maybe you were in survival mode. Maybe you just didn't know. That doesn't make you a bad parent. It makes you beautifully, perfectly human. What matters is what you do now. Your child isn't waiting for you to be perfect. They're waiting for you to see them. And you just took the first step. If this video helped you see your child differently, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment below telling me which sign resonated most with you. I read every single one. Remember, you've got this. Your child is lucky to have someone who cares enough to learn. I'll see you in the next video.